We have endless opportunities. We have water. And we have earth. So we have the Syrian High Council. The Syrian High Council serves as the administrative body for the interdimensional free world councils. This is a task force to maintain freedom based on evolutionary agreements and agendas between all star nations. For Closter Dora Torah, this refers to a section of the 12 holographic disc records made of selenite quartz crystal that were created in Sirius B that contain the evolutionary history of life through the universal time matrix. Feel that there are 12 Essene tribes, which make up the entirety of the collective human gene pool, and are the descendants of the universal tribal shield that has been originally incarnated on this planet from the future timelines of Terra. Each of the 12 tribes are genetically key-coded to their demographic planetary gates, location to the planetary dimensional sphere in its ley line network. When we incarnate onto this planet, we have genetic time codes. So the Yeshua Essene manuscripts. During the Founder Guardian Yeshua mission, it was the purpose of Yeshua, through access to his higher embodiment as a universal blue flame Melchizedek, to help regain control over the Essene Christos Templar translations of the 12 holographic discs. During the Yeshua Guardian mission intended to protect the 11th dimensional Stargate and the Giza Stargate from the Niburian control exerted over the planetary grid network, the entire Yeshua team was raided by the Knights Templar and the Levithian races in an ambush in Amana that decided to incarnate onto the Earth as ocean mammals. They are sending down codes to their ocean mammal bodies on the Earth from Sirius B to help balance and maintain the electromagnetic field.
Know that the Syrians are actually younger than both of the star beings that we talked about before. They're younger than the Arcturians and they're younger than the Lyrans. However, they are older than the beings on Earth and they are older than the Pleiades, who communicate with the gods of ancient Egypt. They're very connected to ancient Egypt. In fact, there's a lot of information about the Syrians directly talking to Isis. So that's interesting as well.
In rare cases, the ability to shapeshift into animals. Syrians also have the ability to alter time, space, and dimension, and to alter matter.
Grand Rising, Grand Day. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to a fresh new episode in this new week of Grand Rising with ChristoLight. And I am your host, Marcus ChristoLight, Sacred Light Healing and Wellness. And as we continue to journey in this series, we have been exploring our galactic lineages, as well as the different dimensional gateways that these galactic lineages help carry and be guardians of when it comes to the law of one. And as you guys saw, our last episode, we left off at talking about Sirius and the Sirius constellation. Talked about Sirius A being connected to some of the canine beings, as well as some of the Lyran Syrian Council, Yeshua manuscript and mission here on the earth being connected to the Lyran and Syrian Council. We also talked about the 12 holographic discs of our 12-point grid. And then we also talked about Sirius B and some of the water mammals, such as the dolphins, the mermaids, the whales, and the type of connection that they have to helping anchor the electromagnetic field of Sirius with Mother Earth. Very fascinating stuff to learn about. So let's go ahead and look at a preview of what it is that we're going to be exploring today on this episode as we continue our Galactic Lineage series.
Am I the only one who feels a weird connection when I spot the Pleiades in the sky? Or maybe you've always felt you don't quite belong here. Let's unravel why. The Pleiades, also called the Seven Sisters, is a dazzling cluster of stars about 440 light-years away. But for some, it's more than just a pretty constellation. It's the rumored home of Pleiadian starseeds. Who are they? Pleiadian starseeds are said to be souls that originate from the Pleiades, here on Earth, to spread love, awaken consciousness, guide humanity, common signs, a sense of not fitting in deep empathy, a fascination with the cosmos. Whether you see it as cosmic myth or soul truth, the Pleiades continues to inspire wonder, and a sense that maybe, just maybe, we're not alone. Curious if you're a Pleiadian starseed? Hit subscribe and let's explore the stars together.
So yep, we'll be talking about the most commonly known starseed lineage, I feel like at least most talked about maybe in our public eye, and that is the Pleiades. So we'll be talking about the Pleiades, what the Pleiades is as a cluster and constellation, and I will also talk about the galactic lineage and the galactic connection that they bring to us as human beings, as well as the rest of this time matrix universe. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and dive into a oracle card for the collective today. And with this oracle card, it will be coming from the Light Language Oracle deck by Chloe Metcalf. And she channels each of these guides for the cards. And it's really cool. You just get the channeled message that she received personally with this spirit guide that is chosen. So again, the Light Language Oracle. Welcome in everyone. We are just pulling our collective card for today, and it is from the Light Language Oracle deck. And our topic for today is going to be exploring the Pleiades. So we're going to be discussing and uncovering the galactic connection of the Pleiades, as well as what Pleiadian starseeds are like, and how to know if you are one. There it is. There it is. Let's see what we got. Clear the air a little bit. Ooh, okay. Number 26. And it is the beautiful emerald green heart chakra. The heart chakra as a being. Beautiful. So I've taught plenty about what the heart chakra is, but I'd like to see what Chloe has to say from the channeling that she personally received. So the heart chakra, number 26, give and receive, and also love. So our heart chakra is the key to a healthy chakra system. And healing the heart, it asks you to ensure that you are emotionally and physically flowing with balanced give and take. You may be giving too much of yourself, be it your time or finances. The same message to take some time to evaluate your heart flow. You can never give or receive too much love. Know that love does come in many different forms. You must take time to understand its mechanics. Love can be a hug, a kiss, a warm meal. It can be soulful, grounding, or even a little bit of learning when to walk away. Love is self-love. As much as it is love, that is shared. No matter what the situation you face right now, love is the path forward. Beautiful. So with that being said, with our card being heart chakra and allowing ourselves to feel unconditional love and to feel renewal within our heart, which is, letting go of the grudges, letting go of the attachments to our memories and to people and relationships, whether we're holding on to things of the past, we're holding on to resentment, we're holding on to anger. Those are all signs of attachments to the energy. When we're able to no longer have attached emotions towards the experiences, towards the rituals that are now in the past, then that is an indication that we are now healed from that. Being healed is basically, being in your own self-empowerment, not feeling like you need to be attached or you need to be giving your power away to anything. So it is a good time to journal. If you have a journal, you can journal about the heart chakra. Take a deep look into your heart and see, are you holding on to grudges? Are you holding on to negativity surrounding people, places, and things that you can know of? Just allow yourself to be free and to continue forward. Can you forgive somewhere? Can you develop more compassionate inquiry, which is where you kind of look into, signs of flaws and develop compassion for those flaws. For example, we have a bad relationship with our parent. Our parent's an alcoholic. Compassionate inquiry is diving deeper into, okay, my parent has a pattern of being an alcoholic because that's what he learned from his parents, and that's what he grew up around. He was when he was a child. He never got to heal from it, so he hasn't really known proper guidance on how to heal, and it's just alcoholism and things of that nature. That's how you develop compassionate inquiry. Emotionally and energetically be able to move forward and go from things, so then you can no longer have to carry that energy with you, and then it also frees them as well. So yeah, again, just good time to reflect on the heart chakra. If there's anything that's really blocking you or in the way of allowing you to feel love, not just finances, not just material, or not just words, but real love, just feeling the presence of the Spirit of God giving love through you, as you, and being received to you as well. So if there's anything resisting that, it's a good time to take, if you'd like, book a one-on-one session. We can do cord cutting ceremonies. We can do subconscious reprogramming. A lot of different things I offer. Or you can come out to a retreat as well. Ooh, this frankincense incense is cleansing me out. Active reading in the Light Language Oracle. All right. With that being said, let's go ahead and dive in and begin our lesson on the Pleiades. All right, let's get into it. Screen share, ascensionglossary.com, our main site of this series. And we're diving into the Pleiades. All right. So the Pleiades, also known as the Seven Sisters, Matariki, Messiah 45, is an open star cluster containing middle-aged, hot B-type stars in the northwest of the constellation of Taurus. It is among the star clusters nearest to Earth. It is the nearest Messier object to Earth and is the cluster most obvious to the naked eye in the night sky. The solar system is undergoing a momentous shift, wherein the 11 main celestial bodies or planets are being magnetically synchronized with the shifting magnetic core in our sun star. Our sun is the 8th sun star from the Pleiades, or Seven Sisters star cluster, located in the Taurus constellation. History and mythology. The identification of the constellation of Taurus with a bull is very old, certainly dating to the Chalcolithic, and perhaps even to the Upper Paleolithic. Michael Rappenglück of the University of Munich believes that Taurus is represented in a cave painting at the Hall of the Bulls in the caves of Lascaux, which he believes is accompanied by a depiction of the Pleiades. The name Seven Sisters has been used for the Pleiades in the languages of many cultures, including indigenous groups of Australia, North America, and Serbia. This suggests that the name may have a common ancient origin. The Seven Sacred Suns. The main solar body, our visible sun, is undergoing an evolution, in that its magnetic pull is reversing, which is further altering its solar ray emissions to Earth and to other planets. This change also alters the function of the constellation Ursa Major, in which its 7 main stars are sequentially merging forces with their counterpart, the 7 sister stars in the Pleiades. The resulting alchemical merge of these constellations of stars is manifesting a new expression of creation in the higher cosmic planes. This is referred to as the 7 sacred suns in the One. The collective spiritual suns are also called the Aurora Sun. Ursa Major, Rishik suns. These 7 stars are that which act as electromagnetic ray spectrum lenses, which transmit the various streams of the ray structure through the 3 main gateways which lead to the sun, then to the earth. The principal masculine active force of these stars is called the Rishik suns. It is the new activity of the Rishik suns that are changing the masculine principle through the alteration of the 7-ray particle structure. The Rishik suns are sequentially merging with the 7 sister stars in the Pleiades and the Taurus constellation, the Bull. Aeonic pair and Pleiades. The universal founders are involved in altering Ursa Major, in which 7 stars are merging with its counterpart. The 7 sister stars in the Pleiades, creating a cosmic blueprint of the Aeonic pair. Together, they represent the active principle of the heavenly masculine and the receptive principle of the heavenly feminine, uniting their shared constellation, which allows connection directly into the cosmic spiritual sun. As this cosmic triad completes, the Heavenly Father, the Heavenly Mother unites with our cosmic spiritual sun, to which this heavenly marriage heralds the birth of an entirely new creation of suns and sacred planets, while nurturing the Christo's child on the earth. The Aeonic pair represents perfect balance. Wow. Oh, the Lyran Wars. So it's going to talk about how some Lyrans went to the Pleiades. The Lyrans are the original ancestors of our galactic family. Many thousands of years ago, their civilization reached a very high technological level. However, fell into disagreement and factions within their culture. These factions went to war and destroyed much of their society. Many of these beings from Lyra left in the starships to colonize the Pleiades, the Hyades, and the Vega system. Some of these Pleiadians of Lyran ancestors also came to Earth during the Lemurian and the Atlantean periods. The Lyrans now have long evolved past the conflict or warlike stage of evolution. These other civilizations could be considered as our galactic cousins. Divine Rising Queen. All right. Gemini and Visissa Pisces corrections. During the height of the electrical peak cycle, solar Christ Michael revealed himself to be the 13th ring of golden fire, surrounding the Earth in a solar dragon Ouroboros line, connected in the Taurus constellation. During the Ring of Fire solar eclipse, Christ Michael and his counterpart, solar Christ Mary, merged their hieroglyphic template with the Taurian matrix to function as the crystal rainbow bridge, merging the 7 sister Pleiades, central sun, to be correctly realigned with the 8th sister sun, our sun. Keys of Enoch, excerpt 38, the 6th key, then, shows how the higher lights can modulate the physical universe, which is controlled by the force fields of 666, so that the pure thoughts of the masters working with 777 principal stars in the cluster of the Pleiades have the power to materialize a new heaven and new earth, so that the former things will not be called to mind. Wow, okay. The 777 principle. Let's take a look at that. 777 is a special master code that has relevance in the consciousness principle governing the architecture of the planet, which pertains to the physical embodiment of Christ consciousness and relevant connections to embody the law of one principles of the Trinity source of the Godhead. The sacred code of 777 can be applied in a multitude of ways to request clearing of ancestral lines, miasma, or inherited imbalances in the Christ consciousness through the natural laws which support moral, virtual, and spiritual ethics. Ancestral clearing. Many of us suffer from an orphan complex at various stages of our ancestral clearing and healing process. When we continuously or consciously participate and inquire on this process, we can make miracles healing available not only to ourselves, but to our extended family of origin and throughout our bloodline history. This is the secret of the master number code of 777. 7 generations of bloodlines will be impacted in the past and future simultaneously. When the ascending vehicle consciously participates with spiritual ascension to cosmic Christ consciousness, the now self is initiated to heal the entire bloodlines of past and future timelines from the present station of identity. This is the secret that the negative aliens or negative agenda is so desperate to hide from humanity. Parent-child protection code. We can call upon the dispensation of the sacred 777 to release any ancestral patterns inherited in our genetic lineage that is contributing to any blockages, preventing us from our true soul and authentic God realization. We claim in the truth of our being, fully revealed as the light, our divine inheritance that is the truth, our self-sovereign God power and right. Keys of Enoch excerpt. Okay, we already read the first part of that. Then it says 39, at that time, the liberated body of Gematria will go beyond the 777 combination, connecting the lower biological creation to become one with the Jesus Gematria of 888. This liberated body thus ascends into the higher infinite throne worlds of the Father's many mansions, which are liberated to reign with the Christ. Wow, how beautiful is that? Take that in for a moment. We'll take a look at the 7 sister stars, which is actually the same thing as the Pleiadian description. But actually, it is actually describing a little bit different stuff. So we will go over this. All right. The 7 sister stars. So the solar system is undergoing a momentous shift where the 11 main celestial bodies of our planet are being magnetically synchronized with the shifting magnetic core in our sun star. Our sun is the 8th sun star from the Pleiades of 7 sisters star cluster located in the Taurus constellation. Our sun passes through the Taurus constellation from mid-May to mid-June, in which oceanic plasma waves are currently being transmitted and are reconnecting our sun's magnetic core to properly align with the stars of her 7 sisters. The reunification of our sun with our 7 sister stars in the Taurus constellation effectively purges out a tremendous amount of collective human race melasmic record and nullifies the effects of the trauma timelines that happened as a result of the fall of Terra. As the vast amounts of solar plasma streams entering the magnosphere run directly into the planetary crystal core and into the inner domains, this sets a new magnetic wave resistance pattern in the planetary grid. This organic magnetic wave pattern appears to have extremely amplified effects for activating the crystal body with new DNA tones with physical matter, where is a ascension wave of accelerated crystal body activating. Let me slow down. There's an ascension wave of accelerated crystal body activation taking place in the collective race. Consciousness to attune the human light body into spiritual alignment with the solar codes of the 7 sisters' DNA musical tones. That makes me wonder, 7 in the solfeggio. I wonder if the solfeggio is connected to the 7 sister DNA musical tones. Wow. This is to help support the human race and spiritual families to be increasingly stabilized while experiencing the magnitude of shifts happening in the planetary ascension cycle, which includes the global revelation of the future disclosure events. I really like how they said that in that last sentence, that these DNA healing tones and solar codes, they're here to help support our journey and our human and spiritual families so we can be stable and we can feel balanced and we can feel healed and empowered while we're going through these big changes and shifts and disclosures on the planet, instead of being reactive, pulled by it, reactive and impulsive, aggressive, because of the type of disclosure and the awakening that we're having. It is super key to have that balance within yourself, that stability, so that you're not feeling like you're being taken away by the world when you find out about things. The 7 sister Pleiades central sun. Okay. So we're gonna check out crystal body and DNA. So crystal body and DNA. All incarnating angelic humans have a unique individual expression that is held within morphogenic instruction sets that express the specific physical attributes that the consciousness chooses to manifest as its specific characteristics and form. The multidimensional blueprint, which consciousness utilizes to experience individual consciousness with a dimensionalized form or biology, is the crystal body. The crystal body is critical in setting the electromagnetic spirals and foundation structure for the unique design and attributes of the individual DNA. The crystal body generates the instruction set for the entire biological energetic system through DNA, setting up the light body configuration, which functions as the pre-matter construction for the shape of the actual matter form. The crystal body is connected within the permanent seed atom of the higher heart center and is wholly responsible for building the consciousness structure that holds the soul, monadic, and higher spiritual bodies. By running the energetic circuitry that forms into Merkaba spirals, which further build into the complex webbing of the entire nadi structure. The nadi structure is essentially the entirety of the complex circuitry forming into the multidimensional layers of the central nervous system, which functions as the conduit for consciousness energy and light symbol codes. Therefore, it is the central nervous system, or bioneurology, which is required to function correctly in order to run the soul, monadic, and higher spiritual frequencies of light and sound throughout the brain, nervous system, and body. The crystal body functions as the multidimensional structure that interconnects consciousness, energy, and biology. It builds the necessary energy structures for the light and sound bodies to link with all of the higher spiritual bodies from within the physical form. The crystal body remains mostly dormant in humans until consciousness growth stages of heart opening actually occur in the 8th chakra center during the monadic integration phase. In the dormant phase, an individual's DNA remains spiritually stagnant and is therefore largely being shaped through epigenetic structures or environmental factors. In many cases, the negative ego programs of our mentalized, institutionalized, The negative ego programs of our mentalized intellectualization directly block communication exchanges from the heart center into the crystal body. Hence the aggressive trauma-based mind control targeting used by the controllers as the main spiritual warfare tactic to keep humanity in fear from the purpose of shutting down their higher heart center, which tends to result as inactivity within the crystal body. Activation of the crystal body starts with opening our heart center toward feeling and experiencing more loving kindness, compassion, and empathy for ourselves and others, which naturally occurs during the first stages of spiritual awakening. After the heart center is able to feel and express unconditional love, the next stages of crystal body activation come from assorted ascension, wave transmissions from the sun, or stellar bodies within the planetary grid, which includes a variety of light code symbols. The individual's crystal body is interlinked with the entire tribal shield, which includes the crystal body blueprint for all the variations of specific frequency arrangements for the 12 tribes of the angelic human template. As a result of the plasma initiations, the magnetic reset, the activation of the large crystal body for the tribal shield memories and the Diamond Sun DNA information is methodically clearing and removing alien hybrid genetic codes, AI codes, and an assortment of blood covenants that were used as consciousness traps. These genetic distortions in the personal DNA code must be cleared in order to generate the DNA signal handshake through each of the dimensional planes that are holding the crystal body matrix instruction set for the entire tribal shield DNA coding. With the summer solstice, we are in an ascension wave in which solar plasma frequencies are being saturated through the planetary grid network to assist in monadic matrix integration for crystal body activation, which further leads to an acceleration in DNA assembly. This is the generation of hierogamic crystalline blueprints in the individual crystal body that further activate the crystal gene and the silicate matrix, which can catalyze a range of biospiritual plasmas. Wow. So, planetary magnetic realignment. The actual phase of correcting magnetic realignment via reconnection with crystal body instruction sets is occurring within the window of the solar eclipse of June 10th through the March equinox in 2022. And these physical symptoms are not present now. They may arise in the next 9 months for the consciousness rebirthing necessary for preparing to navigate the planetary liberation and ascension timeline in 2022 and beyond. Interesting. So now we're moving in that flow. So I'll read this last one, and then we will also talk about, well, if I can even find the article, I'm not sure where to find it, but I wanted to talk about the Pleiadians and their connection to the Cherokee as well. So light code symbols, light symbol codes, and DNA signal. As we dedicate ourselves to serve our highest spiritual expression as a lifestyle, we will constantly be exposed to a variety of energetic exchanges of higher frequencies and light symbol codes sourcing from our monad, avatar Christos, and higher spiritual identities. Light symbol codes activate the crystal body to function in higher ways, directing consciousness energy, light, and sound codes into new arrangements of musical DNA tones. Light symbol codes can appear as platonic solids or light language, in which they are grouped together to form a complex mathematical pattern that holds an instruction set. Light symbol codes program and direct the conscious energy within the fabric of light and sound grids that create the structures for manifestation. The new arrangements of DNA musical tones start to activate higher potentials of the manifested DNA to come online and begin to make frequency alterations and adjustments to the physical body. Musical DNA tones are DNA signals that arrange the pattern of the raw material substance of the DNA, such as the nucleoids and the protein chains. Human red blood cells contain DNA emitting signals. That's why it's so important not to inject other species or foreign DNA substances directly into our bloodstream. When other species DNA or an artificially generated genetic modified organism is injected into the bloodstream, this interferes with the human DNA's ability to recognize other human DNA signals and blocks DNA communication with all members of the same species. I'm going to read that again. I don't need to explain why. Pay attention to what's happening in the world, what's been happening, artificials, vaccines, all these different things that are coming into our cells and into our bloodstream. I'm going to read this again for you. This is why it's so important to not inject other species or foreign DNA substances directly into our bloodstream. When another species' DNA or an artificially generated genetic modified organism is injected into the bloodstream, this interferes with the human DNA's ability to recognize other human DNA signals and blocks DNA communication within the members of the same species. It is important to know that controllers also use light symbol codes in mind control transmissions to stop or prevent organic light symbol code transmissions from activating the crystal body in humanity, which keeps human DNA potentials dormant. Wow. Pretty deep on that. So let's now talk about the Pleiadians and their connection to the Cherokee. All right. So this is about the Cherokee, and this is about the Cherokee's connection to the Pleiadian star cluster. So it says, long ago when the world was new, there were 7 boys who used to spend all their time down by the townhouse playing the Gadiasukti game or something of that nature. Let me kind of skip over some of this. Okay, this doesn't really give like the history. I'm gonna find a good one for us. Okay, I think I might have found something for us. Let me see. So let's see here. So it says, Cherokee legends teach that Native Americans originated long ago in the Pleiades, and assert that indigenous people are on Earth as starseeds with a mission of bringing light and knowledge. The Navajo called the Pleiadian star cluster sparkling suns, and the Iroquois petition the constellation for happiness. The Lakota and Dakota people say their ancestors are from the Pleiades. Pleiadians have a distinctive Nordic or Scandinavian appearance, 700-year lifespan. I'm not really finding too much more depth, though, about the Cherokee and Native connection. But yeah, you guys can check it out anytime, though. You can go deeper, and you can dive into that connection as well. So we'll go ahead and continue, and we will move into watching our videos for the episode about the Pleiades. We got some Debbie Solaris, as well as Aurora Ray. And you guys enjoy. So, get cozy, grab a snack if you would like, some tea, some coffee, and enjoy these videos. We'll kick off with Debbie Solaris, and with her, she has 3-minute videos. So we'll be playing 3-minute videos, and then we'll go into Aurora Ray's, and that one's a little bit more in depth.
I think what happened in the Pleiades was located 500 light years away from Lyra. So the Lyrans that were escaping the system headed towards the Pleiades because they were trying to get as far away from Draco as possible. And this was a very far off star system. Even when you look at the night sky and you see the Pleiades, I mean, they look far away. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can see like you can see it with the naked eye, yes, but it's not that bright. But they were heading to the Pleiades, so that by the time they got there, they had gone through a lot of trauma, okay? I mean, it was not an easy trip. I mean, it took years to get to the Pleiades. So I think they were so traumatized that they wanted just to start over. They wanted to reinvent themselves. They just wanted to have a new identity. And so they called themselves Pleiadians. They created a whole new civilization. They didn't want to be attached to their Lyran ancestor trauma anymore. And so they started looking very much into love and light. It was all about the positive. The Pleiadians have went through their own similar evolution. Their evolution started 1 million years ago. So 1 million years ago, they were struggling with a lot of the same issues that we have here on Earth. Maybe not quite to the extreme that we see here on Earth. So the Pleiades is a star cluster, and there's quite a few different stars, and each of these stars have their own civilization, their own culture. So under the umbrella of the Pleiadian, unification. But there was also a split in the Pleiades where I think the Pleiadians, because they were trying to heal from the wounds of their ancestors, most of their ancestors were, Lyran refugees. And so they dealt with trauma signatures within their own genetics, and they became ultra focused on the light and didn't know how to integrate the darkness within them, which created the split of your positive Pleiadians and your more rogue Pleiadians. So a lot of people have this misconception that Pleiadians are all good. Not necessarily. They may look beautiful, but they're not all good. There's some rogue ones, and some of the rogue Pleiadians ended up joining forces with Orion. That's a whole other story. So there was this split, and then they had to find their way back towards integration, which is kind of what we're seeing here on Earth right now. I had a Pleiadian client. She was a dog groomer. Pleiadians are empathic people. They're empathic with a capital E. They love animals. They love to work with animals. She was struggling in her relationships. She was always attracted to narcissistic men. And she didn't understand why, she was falling into the same patterns. And so I did a reading for her, and I said, well, you're from the Pleiades, and in the Pleiades, relationships are very open. The Pleiadians, it's not uncommon for Pleiadians on the Pleiades to have polyamorous, relationships. But they're also very, very devoted, in their relationships. And because Pleiadian starseeds tend to be very empathic, and they see the potential in everybody, it sounds like a codependency type of thing. They take on these projects, they're like, oh, well, I see the potential in this guy. I really love him. And I think if I just worked with him and helped him heal, we'll be good together. Yeah. But it never works out like that, So it's not like that, it's not like that in the Pleiades, but when they come here to Earth, they don't realize that, hey, not everybody on Earth is like they are in the Pleiades.
Right.
Yes.
All right. So that was Debbie Solaris. Great woman to follow, subscribe to, and just check out her content. She's all over Gaia TV and YouTube as well. She talks about all the different galactic lineages, galactic history, as well as some other things as well. So she is a great resource to use, along with the ascensionglossary.com and Lisa Renee. And I'm going to show you guys another great resource as well, in case if you are not aware of her yet. And she goes by Aurora Ray. And on her channel, she also has meditations and activations, along with the education of galactic knowledge as well. So we'll go ahead and dive in and explore what Aurora Ray has for us when it comes to Pleiadians.
Are you a Pleiadian? Have you ever wondered if you are from another planet? You might be wondering if you were abducted by aliens as a child. Or did your parents tell you that you were found in a cabbage patch or on their doorstep? So, how do you determine if you are from the Pleiades? I have had regular contact with them and can confirm their existence. Not only do they exist, but they are here to help us as we make our evolution into fifth-dimensional beings. They have left us many clues to aid in this evolution. The Pleiadians are eager to connect with those who resonate with their energy and frequency. They hail from the star cluster known as the Pleiades and its 7 main stars. Some sources say that there are actually more stars in this cluster, but those are the main ones visible from Earth. The Pleiadians are humanoid and possess many characteristics similar to humans, including the same number of fingers and toes as us. They can live up to 800 years. Some are the same size as humans, and some are much taller than humans, averaging between 6'5" and 7 feet in height. In addition to the above, Pleiadians also have not only blue eyes, pale skin, and blonde hair, but they have different skin tones, eye, and hair colors, just like humans. Among other things, it is believed that these beings heal with sound or music and prefer to eat raw foods or plants for nutrition instead of meat. The Pleiadian people are said to be very positive beings, always having a positive outlook on life. They believe that there is a higher power out there controlling everything, and they believe in karma as well. Pleiadians are also very spiritual beings who often practice telepathy as a means of communication with one another. Some of their technology includes healing lasers, time travel, and teleportation devices. The Pleiadian race is described as being very advanced compared to humans on Earth now. According to Dr. Sheldon Neidl and Barbara Marciniak, both of whom have written extensively on the subject of Pleiadians and other extraterrestrials, there are currently over 4 million Pleiadians on Earth. They are among us in physical form, walking among us, living next door to us. They may even be reading this article right now. If you've ever wondered if you might be a Pleiadian, here are some ways to tell. You may be a Pleiadian if you feel you don't belong on this planet and feel very different from most people around you. If you have always been interested in space and distant planets and are fascinated by the universe. If you are a deep thinker and have an insatiable thirst for knowledge. If you like to surround yourself with lots of greenery and nature. If you feel uncomfortable in large groups and public places and prefer to spend time alone or with small groups of people. If you have vivid dreams about flying or traveling through space. If you have memories of having lived in Sirius Andromeda or another faraway solar system or galaxy, they will seem more real than your present life on Earth. If you are very sensitive to loud noises, bright lights, big crowds, and chaotic situations, these things can make you feel overwhelmed, anxious, or unwell, even physically sick. If you're drawn to the ocean and have a sense of knowing about Atlantis, if you have an interest in healing modalities and alternative ways of healing, if you feel a calling to teach, help, or heal others, if the concept of ascension and ascending into greater consciousness appeals to you, if you believe we are all one, yet you feel different from others, if you are sensitive to electromagnetic fields or EMFs, such as computers and cell phones, if you feel more comfortable being in nature than in cities or large groups of people, if your ears stick out slightly, perhaps just one more than the other, if you often experience déjà vu or know how something will happen before it does, if you are highly sensitive and maybe an empath, if you are naturally intuitive, you may have psychic gifts. You may have a strong spiritual connection to the earth, nature, animals, and/or trees. If you may have had AT or UFO encounters, you may have an interest in sacred geometry, numerology, ancient civilizations, and symbolism. If you have a desire to be of service to others, these are the indications that you are a Pleiadian. In fact, many people are not just human, but also have some extraterrestrial DNA in them. If you're a Pleiadian, but these traits don't apply to you, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're not one. The majority of humans, however, have between 0% and 25% Pleiadian DNA. On the other hand, if some of these suggestions do apply to you, then you may indeed be a Pleiadian. We love you dearly. We are here with you. We are your family of light. Aho. This is a message to humanity from Aurora Ray, Ambassador of the Galactic Federation.
Aurora Ray. So that was Whew. Big yawn. Feels like a Monday today. I don't know what it is, but it's interesting. It's a very relaxing day. So I have one more video. This one's by Aurora Ray as well. The video we just watched is about Pleiadian star seeds in general. This video that we're going to be tapping into to close out is going to be about the crystal cities and activations of the Pleiadians.
The life of Pleiadians. The Pleiadians are incredibly peaceful, loving, spiritual, and intelligent beings who have achieved great things in their culture and society. Some of the achievements include being able to see with their eyes closed, having telepathic abilities, being able to freeze time, healing themselves and others instantly, flying without machines. They fly by thought using their Merkaba, technology that is so advanced that they can disappear from this planet to another in a flash of light and more. They have passed the spiritual stage of development, and now they are more focused on scientific development. Their cities are built hundreds of feet underground to shield them from harmful rays from the sun and moon, as well as to protect them from earthquakes, floods, and other cataclysms on their planets. The Pleiadians live in crystal cities that sparkle like tiny quartz crystals in the midst of nature's greenery. On worlds in the Pleiades star cluster, several of these cities resemble crystal locations underground and beneath oceans. These cities have many unusual structures and activities. For example, they grow their food inside their buildings because they don't want to waste space on growing fields or gardens above ground. All their water is recycled, so there is no need for lakes, rivers, or waterfalls outside the buildings. People get their fresh air by sitting near windows with a slight opening in them, particularly at night when it is cooler. Their buildings, which are made of a crystalline substance, are all connected by walkways and tubes that are transparent, so they can see through them to watch what's going on outside. They wear clothes only when they go outside. Otherwise, they are always in light body coverings, similar to what humans think of as spacesuits. The crystal cities are built in a particular way with crystals that are shaped as tall towers, pyramids, and zigzag spires. The crystal cities and the landscape in general are full of life, feel great, and look fantastic. The pure energy of the planets, stars, and galaxies flows through the cities like silvery white veins or rivers of light, bringing life to everything. The Pleiadian crystal cities do not have a lot of people living in them because it's more about living or being in a clean, harmonic, and peaceful environment. Living in big cities on Earth where there is pollution, noise, stress, traffic jams, and all kinds of bad energies is difficult to compare to being among these crystal cities that shine like tiny quartz crystals among the greenery of nature. Apart from Pleiadians, there are also many other star races living in these cities who are there for trade or to work together with the Pleiadians. The Pleiadians live in cities that are built in the same dimensions as their bodies. The buildings are tall and slender, with much of their space devoted to air circulation. These tall, slender cities absorb sunlight from the tops of the buildings and bring it down through the structures. They have skylights instead of windows, and there is very little need for artificial lighting. There is a great deal of greenery around the buildings and inside them as well, with different varieties planted in every available nook. There is a requirement for flowers to be present everywhere because the Pleiadians use them during their meditations. The Pleiadians themselves are quite slender and tall, averaging 7 to 8 feet in height. They are usually seen wearing white garments that shimmer like silver threads. Their skin tones are mostly pale greenish with tinges of blue and green, and they have hair ranging from light brown to reddish blonde. The Pleiadian cities are built underground beneath lakes, rivers, or oceans on planets in the Pleiades star cluster. The Pleiadian cities are very advanced and sometimes invisible to some people. The yellow crystal city is a place of light and beauty. Its buildings are made of radiant crystals, which glow with their own inner light. There are many gardens in the city, and people can swim in the river that runs through it. Pleiadians live here on a continual basis. They also have access to other cities within the same star system, such as Blue Crystal City. This place is like a miniature version of Yellow Crystal City, but blue in color. Red Crystal City. This city is bursting at the seams with energy and fire. Its inhabitants enjoy both high technology and spiritual development. Green Crystal City. This city is home to many healers who provide a service to the whole of the Pleiadian star system, including Earth. Purple Crystal City. This city provides education for people from all over the galaxy who wish to visit and learn about spiritual development and Pleiadian culture. All the above cities are open to all people from Earth who wish to visit them. Although there are strict rules regarding what one may talk about when returning to Earth, there are also more than just these 5 cities in the Pleiades star cluster, but these are the ones that are the most popular. The Pleiadian cities have a very high level of technology and are very spiritual. One can go inside the crystal cities in spirit and communicate with their guides and teachers. It is said that the Pleiadians have also created a few underground cities on Earth, in South America, and also underneath the deserts of the United States. And they have created many Pleiadian settlements that are beneath the surface of the Earth near sacred sites like Machu Picchu, Ollantaytambo, and others. The Pleiadians live in their communities or cities without interfering with or harming nature. They never use animal products or byproducts for food, clothing, or any other purpose. However, they do use crystals to create anything they need using their minds, consciousness, and knowledge of how to manipulate energy fields. All forms of animal life, plants, and trees are respected as living beings, just like human beings, but they do not consume them for sustenance. They grow fruits and vegetables that are extremely nutritious in their gardens and hydroponic farms. They only eat what is grown in their own biodynamic gardens. There is no pollution or contamination because they recycle everything into fertilizers for their plants, which cleans the air and water around the planet. We love you dearly. We are here with you. We are your family of light. Aho. This is a message to humanity from Aurora Ray, Ambassador of the Galactic Federation.
All right. So that will do it for our episode today on the Pleiades on Grand Rising ChristoLight. If you guys have any questions about how to move through some of your shadows, if you're struggling with, how to consciously release energy, or you're trying to develop more healthier routines in your life, and you just want some guidance to help get you going, get you up on your feet, you can reach out anytime. I do offer my one-on-one healing services, and there is a wider range that I offer. You guys can scan this QR code here up at the top corner of the screen, and it'll take you directly to my link page where you can browse my one-on-one healing services, from Reiki to inner child healing to chakra balancing to overall life guidance to help develop new daily patterns, habits, and routines, as well as weekly shadow work with a guide. I also do Akashic Records, soul origin meditations to help you uncover your starseed lineage. So there's many different things I offer in one-on-one spaces, and we can always sit down and just have a free consultation call to talk about what it is you're moving through, what it is that you would like to focus on, and what I feel could be the best option for us. Along with that, you guys can also scan that QR code up there, and you'll be able to access all my retreat signups, where you can register for any of the retreats coming up. The October retreat on the 17th, I have a Peruvian shaman coming out to Ohio. And then we have live music as well, healing workshops. 11/11, I'll have another retreat in the Ohio area as well. And then New Year's, I'll be in Ohio or Pennsylvania. So with that, you guys can also scan that QR code and you can get organic, ethical, clinical reishi coffee. And you can also access the Sacred Kingdom community, where you can discover all of the different practitioners and wonderful healing mediums that we have available for you in the kingdom. With that being said, I will see you guys later on tonight for a live giveaway at 10 p.m. Eastern. And then I will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern for another episode of Grand Rising with ChristoLight, as we will continue on and explore more as we will go into Nibiru. Hold some amounts love. Our founder flames. This right here is an embodied form of the violet ray spectrum. Tap in and tune in Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern, live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Grand Rising with ChristoLight, your sacred space for discovering the Ascended Masters in crystal healing. Ashe.